Hey, what's up guys, it's Griffin, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a really sick thumbnail like this. So what we're going to be using in this tutorial is Cinema 4D in Photoshop. So yeah, let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to do is go into Cinema 4D. I'm going to open my Lightroom. I use Robbie's Lightroom. If you don't have this and you want it, then I'll have a download link to it in the description. So yeah, once you've opened that, I'm going to go to MoGraph, MoText. Then we're going to drag it to where we can see it. And I'm going to scale it down using this tool right here. Then rotate it like that. Just get it how you want it to look. And then just for the tutorial, I'm going to do your text. Just like that. I'm going to have it in two separate lines. I'm going to turn down the vertical spacing if yours is like more than one line like this. Like that. Then I'm going to put the alignment to middle. I'm gonna rotate it a little bit more, and then I'm gonna use the font Gotham. It's one of my favorite like clean fonts. There we go. Gonna turn the vertical spacing up a little more. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so now that we have that, we're gonna select our MoText, and then we're gonna press C. So it splits up the letters into individual layers like this. So we're going to open all these. And then as you can see, we have our separate letters. I'm just going to do some random rotation. So like just select your first letter and then just like rotate it like that. Then going to select my next one, then do something like that. Then just keep doing this for all your letters until it looks good. And then, as you can see, this doesn't look very good because they don't look spaced very evenly. So I'm gonna take my U, I'm gonna drag it over to the O, kind of in front of it, just so it looks more random. Then the R, drag it over like that. And now that your is done, now we're gonna do the text, the bottom one. Just do kind of the same sort of thing with this one. Alright, this looks pretty good in my opinion. So now we're going to do the same thing, just drag them together. Gonna drag my E over, drag my X over, and my T. Okay, so now I'm just going to drag the text over to the middle. You know what, I'm going to like rotate my E a little more just so it looks more random. Just move it a little bit. Alright, hold on. Alright, that looks pretty good. So, once we have that, just make sure yours looks something like this. We're gonna select the MoText, then hold Control and click Camera. And then we're gonna make it brighter and we're gonna face it towards the lighting, so we're gonna use the Rotate tool. Then drag it like this until it's bright, like that. So it'll just look a lot brighter when we render it. So let's pre-render it and see what it looks like. Ooh, that doesn't look very good. So as you can see, it's really like dark on top of the text. The text, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna select the text. We're gonna drag it forward so it's not like in back of the your. And pre-render it again to see what that looks like. And also, your rendering speeds will like vary depending on your render settings. Like if you have ambient occlusion or like global illumination on, if you know what that means, it'll take longer to render because it's adding more like detail to it. So, alright, this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna render this. I'm gonna go to render settings, save. I'm gonna render it to my GFX folder. I'm gonna just do tutorial. Render it as a PNG and have alpha channel on so you don't have a black background. And I think that's good. I'm gonna render it now. And I will see you again when it's done rendering. Alright, so now that this is done rendering, we're gonna take this into Photoshop. We're gonna go open it. What are they? Oh yeah, tutorial. And now once we have this, let's see, let me look at this really quick. Okay, so we're gonna make just a black background, so go to new layer, press D and G on your keyboard. So now the color is black, and we're gonna use our paint bucket tool and just make it black like that. Make sure the layer is at the back, like behind your text. So once we have that, we're gonna go find a grunge texture on Google Images. So look up grunge texture, and then let's just find a good one. I like this one, so we're gonna use this. Copy image, then we're gonna go Control V. Then we have that. I'm gonna make it smaller. Control T, and just drag it like that. Make sure you're holding Shift so it doesn't get out of makes it. If you hold Shift, it won't get distorted. So once we have that, we're gonna use my personal CC. So in the description, I'm gonna have a download to my personal color correction that I use for pretty much everything I do. So download that, then just drag it onto your thumbnail. It'll make it look a lot nicer. And then we're just gonna blur the background a little bit. Gaussian blur. Do like 4. That's good. So once we have that, we're gonna add these little red things that you can see in the upper left and the lower right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a new layer. Make sure your color is on red. We're gonna put a pen tool like right here, and then like right there, and then click and drag to make a curve in your pen tool or your anchor point, whatever. Then just go back around to your original anchor point. We're gonna right click, fill path, and make sure it's on color so it turns red. And now we have that. We're gonna put the blending mode to darken so it like blends with your grunge texture. And then we're gonna duplicate it, Control J, and then Control T, right click it, and then rotate 180 degrees so we can put one in the lower right. So just drag it like that, and that looks good. So let's see what else we have in this. Okay, so yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn down the opacity on the grunge texture just to make the backing darker and make the render stand out more. So yeah, that looks good. Now we're gonna add some drop shadow to the render. So double click that layer, drop shadow, put the distance to 0, opacity 100, turn the size up like that, like 50, about 50. That looks good. Then we're gonna add some inner glow, put the blending mode to vivid light, and then opacity to like 80, like 75 actually, and just turn the size up a little bit like that. That looks pretty nice. You know, I'm gonna turn the opacity down a little bit just so it's not as intense. And that looks good now. Now let's see what else we can do. We're gonna add some lighting on the top. As you can see, we have like some lighting. It looks lighter on the top. So I'm gonna make a new layer on top, but below the color correction. We're gonna put our color to white and just zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna put my size of the brush to like 2000 and just put it on the top like that. Alright. Then we're gonna turn the opacity down a little like that. Alright, that looks pretty good. So now once that's done, I'm just gonna turn down the opacity on the grunge texture a little bit to darken it. Alright, that looks really good. And then I'll show you another thing you can do. We're gonna select all of our layers. We're gonna hold Shift and then click the top one, then Control J to duplicate it, then Control E to merge it. And then we're gonna duplicate it one more time. Then I'm gonna show you a pretty cool effect you can do. We're gonna go to Filter, Other, and High Pass. And then it looks really weird as you can see, but we're gonna put the radius to like 6 pixels. And then once we've done that, we're gonna put the blending mode to Overlay. And as you can see, it gives it like a nice little contrast effect. But I think it looks better without it personally, so I'm gonna leave it like that. That's pretty much it. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and comment, and also subscribe for more tutorials in the future. That's it. I'm out. Peace.